In my opinion, one of the greatest joys in life is sending and receiving snail mail. There's something about this method of correspondence that just feels so sincere and so genuine, but so carefree all at the same time. I'm a very tactile person, if you couldn't already tell from me needing to hold this tiny little mic while I talk, but in that regard, I do love being able to experience my mail as an object too. If you think about it, mail, from the writing, the preparing, dropping off at the mailbox, receiving, opening, and the reading, is truly an experience, and I think it should be treated as such. There's something so precious about knowing that a family member, a friend, a pen pal, or otherwise had spent some time into putting a piece together for you to enjoy. I think it's a simple pleasure that unfortunately a lot of people have taken for granted, but the pandemic also thankfully has allowed a lot of other people to fall back in love with mail. I don't know if you've taken a look at stamps lately, but stamps are so beautiful. These are just a few in my collection. I think the frogs are my favorite. While there technically is no timeline for sending a response to snail mail, I'm definitely the queen of late correspondence. I tend to procrastinate on sending a response, and I realize it's because I get into this weird anxious loop of realizing that I haven't sent a response in a while, feeling bad that I haven't sent the response in that particular timeline, feeling bad that my friend might be waiting on a response, and then on top of all of that, feeling really anxious over feeling like I need to have a perfect response before I send something. I tend to make fun things not so fun over that fear and anxiety of perfection, so here are just a few tips for making writing snail mail fun for you. Tip 1. Get and use stationery that brings you joy. This means buying and stocking up on your favorite pens and markers. These are just a few of my favorites. Editing Marge here. I had to interrupt because I said get stationery that brings you joy, but I only talked about pens and markers. But you also should be getting paper and paper goods like envelopes that bring you joy as well. So don't skimp out on the paper. Find something that you really like to write on as well. Okay, that's it. Goodbye. Tip 2. Ritualize the moment. This means figuring out your favorite writing spot and also figuring out what time of day you prefer to write in. It's very simple, but I like to write in this particular corner of my room, and I know I'm a night owl, so I prefer to write at night. I like to get cozy, grab a cup of tea, light a candle, and just start writing. Tip 3. Collect and send postcards in lieu of a full letter. Postcards are a quick and easy way to send mail, as it forces you not to complicate things, and it also eases a lot of the pressure of sending mail. Some of my favorite places to go to find postcards are flea markets or vintage shops, bookstores, museums, and tourist variety shops whenever I visit someplace new. So it's hard to know what to write about when you first start sending mail, and while I can't tell you what to write in your letters in particular, these are just a few tips on how to make the experience fun for the recipient. Tip 1. Include small goodies in the envelopes. This means stickers, post-its, small stationery, or other things that your friend might be able to use. This could even mean a little cute gift card to their favorite coffee shop or something. Tip 2. Write a separate question and answer card. This typically means that somebody needs to start the exchange, and I'm the one that usually does, so maybe you could be the one that does it as well. What this means is that on a separate piece of paper that you fold into the rest of your letter so that it doesn't get lost, you include 2 to 3 questions, regardless of whether or not they are fun questions, or deep questions, silly questions, or just general icebreakers, in the hopes that your friend, in response, would send their answers and also send you 2 to 3 questions of their own for you to answer the next time you send a piece of mail to them. It's just a fun way to have a side conversation within the context of your letter. Tip 3. Spend some time customizing the front and backs of your envelope. Again, mail is an experience and it should be treated as such. There's nothing more exciting than receiving a cute little envelope with some doodles or just stamps. Anything you could do to zhuzh up the envelope is a fun way for the recipient to really enjoy and feel like their mail is precious. So my last tip is actually something I've never done just yet, but it is something I want to do eventually, and that's to make my own paper to write on. I've heard it's a relatively easy project to take on, and there's nothing more custom than writing on a piece of paper that you made yourself. It's also relatively environmentally friendly since you'll be recycling paper to make your own paper to write on. I feel like I've said paper a lot. At the end of the day, snail mail is all about doing what feels right for you in the moment and also just having fun. Emphasis on the fun. That's a note for myself as well. So, I hope this video has given you some inspiration and motivation to sit down and write a piece of mail to send to your friend. Happy mailing! Until next time, take care of yourself. Happy mailing! Happy mailing! Okay, I just keep saying the same thing. I'm gonna have to get over that hump eventually. So, my last tip. What is my last tip? I don't know, I've said it so many times now. Ah! Blah, blah, blah. I'm going insane. I think there might have been something there. This is gross. How do people do this? I don't know what to do. I'm just sitting here. All the small things. Truth cares. Truth brings. Say it ain't so. I will not go. This is what it's like living in a city. Car alarms. My mind is buffering. I think your mind is buffering too.